perfection that I'll never know. But it's the silence that will cut in deep, for which I bear all of your words to forgo. But I can't endure the wait for the fire, so I light the flame just to burn. So now I know there never was a choice, and this is what you always had in mind, 'cause you only want to hear the sound of your voice, and I can see the true intentions you hide. But I can't endure the wait for the fire, so I light the flame just to burn. And now we're watching it burn. Yeah. Now we're watching it
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Barney Order stream of whatever the day today is. I should already know that, 7th of September. I've kind of done a few of these now, and I seem to always realise, where is that I never know how to start them. No idea what I'm doing for the first 10 minutes until I get into it, and I have no idea how to fix that, apart from acknowledging it. But today we have a special stream because the Thrown Away remix album came out recently on Thursday. It's been out for about 4 days now, and we are going to be going over some of the production of it, the creation of it. Let's make sure that is quiet because it's quite loud in this end, and speaking to a few of the guys that helped me make it. It's been a culmination of about, I think, I'd say 6 months, maybe 4 months work to get to the one we've got now. But it is a re-release, essentially, as everything Binary Order wise has been this year. Starting with System Recovery last December. I started redoing everything from them because I finally got my production to a level I was happy with, and one of the things I intended to do was go back to the remix album, or at the time it was an EP. It was only 4 tracks. It was 2 remixes of my own, 1 remix by a friend of mine called Lewis Gunson, who goes by the name Arcade Mix. Did a Good Death, and then the Papa Roach cover. And we should probably start with the Papa Roach cover. Let's see, so let's get Spotify turned off. So yes, this is it. So if you haven't heard this, it's a cover of I never know which screen to look at because I've got it over here and then I've got it reflected over here but smaller, so it's awkward. I'm very good at this, as you can probably tell. As anyone that's watched any of the past streams, it's always a disaster, but I managed to drag myself through it. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I persist. Anyway, so Thrown Away. How loud is this going to come out? There we go. So why cover Thrown Away. I can't see myself doing a lot of covers, to be honest, and I've been thinking about this, why I even bothered to do this one to begin with. It's a cover that I kind of wanted to do because I've been listening to Papa Roach since 2000 when Infest first came out and I was 13. That album, as most people who heard it back then, especially around my age bracket, it was very influential. To this day, like every time I mention Papa Roach, everyone knows Last Resort. And the band, for a lot of people, are still Last Resort, but for a lot more people, they've grown outside of that and sort of embraced their heritage and stuff. I suppose my issue with doing covers is, if you're going to cover Linkin Park, people do In the End. If you're going to cover Deftones, people do Change. People always do the most obvious covers. And for me, Thrown Away was always a song that got massively overlooked on Infest. And it was a song that always resonated deeply with me, lyrically, and especially when covering it, I found there was a lot to it. In terms of the songwriting that I didn't know just from listening to it casually, or hardcore, I suppose, would be the more correct word. But I'll get into that in a little bit. When I originally put the remix EP out, which was summer last year, Falling in Reverse, the exact same day, released a piano cover of Last Resort. And I have opinions about Falling in Reverse that I'll keep to myself, along with, I suppose, opinions I won't keep to myself. It goes back into that, when people do covers, they do the most obvious song, and Falling in Reverse, they did Last Resort. And my reasoning for doing Thrown Away is it's an overlooked song on an album that was, as I said, really influential to me. And the thing that really sort of drove home how overlooked this song was is every time I mentioned to someone that I was covering Thrown Away, they would ask me instantly if I was doing Tightrope. Now, for those that don't know, Thrown Away is technically the last song on Infest, and then there's like maybe a minute and a half worth of like ambient noise, which has become very influential for the way I write binaural stuff. I constantly got weird little ambient bits on my stuff, and I think I probably took it directly from there. But then it goes into Tightrope. Unfortunately, I can't play it because of copyright, even though I'm not monetized, so I could play it. But it's a reggae influenced sounding track, and it's very different than the rest of the album, and it always sticks out to people. And when I was growing up, I loved Thrown Away, and people would always fast forward it to get to the hidden track Tightrope, and because of that, it really sort of compounded the feeling that this song's overlooked. I will play it again because I want to talk about some parts during the recording on it. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, lyrically, a lot of the lyrics on the album, a lot of people resonate with Broken Home. For me, Between Angels and Insects was, especially as a 13-year-old hearing that song, it's a bit sort of I'm 13 and this is deep, or I'm 14 and this is deep. But it first gave me the sort of idea behind the evils of capitalism. And that kind of thing, Between Angels and Insects, was that. And it was the first time I'd really sort of found or heard anything that was really dealing with a lot of very serious subjects matter. Last Resort's about suicide. Thrown Away is about self-destruction, and the whole album's like that. And yeah. So, the other thing I want to talk about is the artwork I've done for this. Now, the actual artwork for the full album is different to this. I will get it up quickly. So this was done by an artist called Tower Junkie Art, I believe. He did the artwork for The Future Belongs to the Mad and I brought him back to do this because originally I used AI art to put this together. I should be able to find the original art. I'll find it in a bit. And I wanted to keep, and it's the same with The Future Belongs to the Mad. That was originally done with AI art, and I wanted to go back in and remove all bloody dry throat. That's what you get for sitting there talking to yourself for 8 minutes. Yeah, I wanted to go back in and remove a lot of the artwork. But I'll talk more about this particular bit when I get to it. In terms of this, now that is the Papa Roach logo, and it's the first tattoo I ever got. I actually had that tattooed on my chest. I've had a lot of my tattoos redone. The Papa Roach one was one of the only ones, if not the only one I haven't had redone. I've got another one on the back of my neck that I want to get redone, but I'm going to keep the Papa Roach one. I was 17. And it was a holiday in Turkey with my family, and yeah, like for some reason my mum was fine with me getting it done. I don't know why. Like everyone always asks me about that when I tell them where I got it done and how old I was. It's like, oh, was your mum fine with that? And she was. My dad wasn't, and I remember after I got it done, I stood up, and my brother went wow for some reason, even though it's just this tiny thing. I'm not showing it, not taking my shirt off. But yeah, so far, like touch wood, knock on wood, whatever that saying is, Papa Roach haven't come after me for using their logo, but there it is. And I managed to get away with it. I'm really happy with how that came out. Obviously I wanted it to be the neon version of their logo. It looks like it's on a CRT screen. It's different to the album artwork, because when I was first doing this, there was a point when it was just my two remixes and it was my friend's remix, and I was intending to put this out because the song meant a lot to me, and I was happy with the first version, and I knew I'd be happy with an improved production version. So it wasn't a decision to like throw it away or not. But when I put this out, I was tempted to sort of scrap the rest of the remixes, but then they started coming in, and completely changed my mind. We'll get to the remixes, and hopefully you agree that keeping them was a good idea. I certainly think so. But yeah, it's originally this was just going to be the single, and that's why this has different artwork to the rest of the album. I also love this imagery, if I do say so myself. Now, one of the things I want to talk about on this is I obviously use the fry vocals for the screaming, and it's very, since the original nu metal song, Jacoby Shaddix, the singer, then known as Kobe Dick, raps on it, and he's, oh, am I peeking? No, I'm not, that just went red for some reason. And he raps very fast, so if you listen to this for a moment. That words manifest from deep inside what people hide within might be some of the hardest fry vocal stuff I've ever had to do. Like, just doing fry vocals is difficult as it is, but the speed on that and to keep the technique on every single word was very difficult. And that was one of the moments when I was working on this that I was like, maybe this is a mistake. And when I very first showed this off to someone, my flatmate, he knew I was doing it. He listened to it. He was like, "This song's too fast. It's ridiculous. It sounds like it's on double speed, and like the fry vocals are crazy fast." It doesn't sound fast to me now because I've listened to it so much. But yeah, and like even this second verse, it's the same thing. We go back to it. Yeah, it's something I'm really happy with and really proud of, and yeah, it's just come together really well. And the difficult thing about this is I'm sort of interviewing myself. But yeah, going forward with this. So I didn't realise the original is actually in a really weird tuning. The final chorus on the original changes key, and it's not even a final chorus. Just the end bit when there's double layered vocals on the original, it changes key. I think it's like D harmonic minor, and then I think it turns into G natural minor. And when I was first sort of putting it together and trying to sing it and doing the cleans and figuring out where to place them, I couldn't. All the cleans I was doing at the end, the voices in my head, that constantly sounded off because I was singing that to, because I've detuned it from D harmonic minor into B harmonic minor because I have a lower range than Jacoby. The wonders of being a baritone, and it's this bit in the background here. So in the original, the key changes, and for ages I couldn't figure it out. I just didn't know that the key had changed, and it was just, yeah. Once I figured that out, now on my version the key doesn't change, so it was retaining that, because the original's got a lift to it at the end, and it's retaining that lift while also being in the same key. I could have changed key, and now I'm talking to myself about it. I don't know why I didn't change key. I should have just changed key, but I didn't. And this is the bit I'm talking about.
It's not receding, and my body's going numb. A battered child, rolling stone keeping high. He don't know what he's doing, he just keeps getting thrown away.
Another reason I wanted to do this as well is it's a really good way for me to demonstrate both my vocal styles. The screams and the cleans, they really lend themselves well to the structure of this song, which isn't in the original at all. And I can't see myself ever doing a cover again. I find them, it's probably not the right word, but I find them restrictive, because you can experiment with a cover and you can do crazy stuff, but you're still adhering to what the original song was. There's still, the original lyrics, the original structure, and you can change all of that. And I think if you end up changing a cover a lot and doing something completely new with it, you might as well just do an original song. So yeah, I've got a list of covers that I want to do, but every time it feels, again, this is probably the wrong word, but honestly, it feels like a waste of time. I feel like I'm better off bringing new music, for better or worse, into the world rather than covering someone else's, which doesn't really sell my cover. But that's the long and short of it. So yeah, that's Thrown Away. A very important song to me. And the other thing that I don't think I've mentioned is I've wanted to cover this since I was young, and first listening to it. As I said, I've got a list of songs that I want to cover. For example, Deep by Nine Inch Nails, a very overlooked Nine Inch Nails song. It was for the Tomb Raider soundtrack, and I think it was a B-side from Fragile. I love it. It's one of my favourite Nine Inch Nails songs, and it's not on streaming. It's not on Spotify or anything, and it's hard to get hold of unless you just look it up on YouTube, which isn't hard. Yeah, and I really want to cover that. But I think I'd be better off just ripping it off and pretending that it's an original idea. So yeah, that's my Papa Roach cover. So moving on from that, let's look into some of... So I'm not going to highlight every single cover on the album. I suppose while we're on mine, there's a few I want to talk about and some that I'm not. Because I've got some of the guys that have done the covers have been kind enough to give some comments on them. So we're going to be going over those. And I want to talk about this for a little bit. My Hands Are Time cover. So essentially, the whole song is this one note. And I'll turn that down because it does get loud. Now, for me, I think this is probably some of the most beautiful music I've made. And every time, especially now I've got this new produced version, every time I listen to it, I always feel like it should have been its own song, really. Or I say own song, but it should have been like a featured song on an album rather than just a remix, because I think people tend to dismiss remixes a little bit, and I feel like this would get dismissed. And it's an ambient piece, and it's the original song stretched out to 6.5 minutes. And the original inspiration for this is, I obviously love ambient stuff. If you listen to Binary Order, I do ambient tracks and I put ambient sections everywhere. Most of the stuff I listen to these days is ambient. Lucille, big fan of him. 2814, love that. Lorne is probably my absolute biggest inspiration, especially for some of the Binary Order that's coming. I shouldn't say too much about that. But I was working in QA years ago. Hated it. It was awful. For an awful company. Every company I worked for was awful, but I especially hated this job. And I found the Jurassic Park theme 5,000% slower. I think it was on Spotify, and it was like 4 hours long. I'm just sitting there in this office doing nothing, because in QA you do nothing. You've never got any work to do, even though but you just have to spend all day looking like you're busy. It's an unimaginable hellscape for someone as active as I am, let's say. I found it torturous, and I remember like finding this Jurassic Park theme slowed down 4,000%, 5,000%, whatever it was, and I just sat there and listened to the whole thing for 4 or 5 hours, doing nothing, just staring out the window, just inconsolably. I should not have attempted to say that word. Just not happy, basically. And it sort of started a love affair with vaporwave and slowed down versions of songs. Around that time I really got into early One of Tricks Point Never, Russian Mind, for example. There's a lot of like pad stuff like this, and it's beautiful. I love it. And I essentially wanted to do, one of my pet peeves with remixes is that 9 times out of 10 they're a dance remix, and my remix of Parasite is borderline a dance remix, so I am guilty of that. But with this, I really wanted to do something different, and I've always liked the idea of a remix, just taking the original and just sort of stretching it out. And so that Jurassic Park slowed down thing was a big inspiration, but the main inspiration for this, one of my favourite songs of all time, it's probably my second, if not it's absolutely in my top 3, is Pyramid Song by Radiohead. I lack the vocabulary to describe why that song's so important to me. And there's a version of it on YouTube that's slowed down. It's Pyramid Song slowed down, and I don't know what the percent is. I think it says it on the thing. And it's the thumbnail is red pyramids, and I find myself listening to that song a lot. And that was what really inspired this, and I think because of that, that's why I really feel like this should have been an album song, because I love it so much, and I hate the fact that it could get overlooked. I mean, if I'm looking at the metrics on YouTube, this is the lowest played one. Spotify numbers haven't come in yet. They're 2 days delayed, which is great, but I imagine it'll be the same. Everyone I played this to has said it's just one note being held for 6.5 minutes, but there's something about these slowed down songs that just are so powerful to me, and I am beyond happy with how this has come out. I think of all the things I've ever tried to do with Binary Order, this is one of the things that I was able to put into execution and completion without any compromise, and it's come out exactly how I wanted it to. I think before we move on to the others, the one thing I do want to talk is, so there's 2 fake out endings in this. That was one of the things that was a little bit of a challenge with it, is because on the original EP, it was the last track. It's not anymore, because there's a very special song that's the last track that I will get to, by my friends in The Witch Said No. Shout out to The Witch Said No and Russian Dark Community, who were instrumental in getting people together for this remix album, so thanks for that. But so we have the 2 fake out endings on this. I'm probably too far back, so I don't know if we're gonna have to sit here for a minute till we get to it. Let's find out. So it's that ending there. It's the original one. You can hear, because I've got really faded reverb vocals, and they come up, and it everything rises on them. The volume, the reverb amount, and the delay amount, and it was very hard to get that swell on it without them just distorting the hell out of each other. Because it's quite a delicate song, because everything's stretched, and when you stretch audio, you destroy it essentially, and so it was stretching and slowing down stuff and still making it sound listenable. And then you go into this, Sounds of Wales. They're not actually Sounds of Wales. I have no idea what that is. It's just some VST. I think they're called Mammoth Calls. I was just pressing the low notes, stuck a lot of reverb on it, but I think it sounds beautiful. Let's go forward again. And then the actual ending there. So that's my Hands Time remix. Yeah, very happy with that. But you know, I feel it's going to get overlooked. But you know, who are you making music for at the end of the day? Got to be happy with your own output. I guess I'll jump into this one straight away. So I don't know when it was. I think it was midsummer, early summer. I can't remember how. I think Russian Dark Community contacted me, or I was talking to them, and they said The Witch Said No are looking for people to do remixes of their stuff. Can I get that up? I think if I go through here. You can see my subs on the side. Hopefully there's no far right subscriptions that will get me cancelled, or far left. You can get cancelled by both sides these days. Anyway, this is the remix that I did for them. I can't remember once I'd done the remix, or while I was working on the remix, the guys from Witch Said No said, I asked them when this was coming out, and they said they had some problems with mixing and mastering, or getting someone to do it. So I offered to help, and it was a process of back and forth, working with them to mix and master their EP that they put out, Occultism for Beginners. It's there. It's been out for a while now. It's really good. It was different for me. It's a different style. It's very industrial, and I obviously I did this, and I was really happy with this. And as with all the remixes that I do or have been given to me, it's a two-way street. I like to repay the favour or call on them for a favour, and that's what I did. I called on these guys for a favour, and they did Watching It Burn remix. I think they chose this because some of these remixes, I designated them a song that I thought would either be interesting given the particular artist's style, or in what I prefer is if they choose a song that they're passionate about, because that way they're going to have an idea, something to work on. And The Witch said no. I believe they asked for Watching It Burn. I am going to go get some more water, but I will let this play and then I'll come back and speak about it. So how do I turn off this? Because I definitely know what I'm doing. There we go.
With your eyes closed, you speak to me of an affection that I'll never know. But it's the silence that will cut in deep, for which I bear all of your words to forgo. But I can't endure the wait for the fire, so I light the flame just to burn. And now we're watching it burn. Yeah, now we're watching it burn. So now I know there never was a choice, and this is what you always had in mind. 'Cause you only want to hear the sound of your voice, and I can see the true intentions you hide. But I can't endure the wait for the fire, so I light the flame just to burn. And now we're watching it burn. Yeah, now we're watching it burn.
Pretty crazy, right? I had no idea this was coming. So if you listen to their EP, there's a lot of piano stuff on there. But to get this full orchestra thing, it was crazy. And I can't help, this isn't the right word, but I laugh at it a little bit. I'm not laughing, I suppose at it isn't right. It's just such a left field thing, and so experimental and so different and so crazy. I love it, and I had to end the album with it because it's so unique and so different, and it really sounds like something Castlevania. And I don't mean just the Netflix show. I mean like Castlevania as a whole. Just that sort of, that's the right word for it. Like classy vampire thing. If you've ever seen the Twilight meme of the vampires looking down the stairs, like this sounds like what they listen to. Yeah, it's great. And because my original, it's one of the two songs I played at the beginning of the stream. Mine's sort of like this slow, harsh synth song, and yeah, they just turned it into this. It's crazy, and I love it. I think for me, it sort of signifies why I'm really happy that I kept this remix album, because there's just a lot of interesting, different, and experimental stuff, and that's a big thing for me with binary order. Is I want to constantly sort of be doing something new, something different, and yeah, and just unexpected, and that's exactly what this is, and I think it really fits in to everything that I'm trying to do as an artist. So thank you, Which Said No, for that remix. It's great. So moving on, we have some notes that he's come up. Yes. So first of all, let's play the song in the background if I can find out where it is, because I don't know what I'm doing. I should really be better at this. Shinigami. Okay. So this is a remix of Face Beneath the Waves. I'm sure everyone out there can read. Actually, maybe some people can't read. It's a remix of Face Beneath the Waves by Shinigami IND. I don't know if that's pronounced Shinigami Ind, but I'm the same guy that still calls id Software, ID Software, so you wouldn't listen to me about pronunciation. Anyway, this is what they had to say about their remix. First time I heard Face Beneath, it struck me as chaotic, but in the best way possible. Raw, unpolished, and above all, honest. Now, I read this properly for the first time earlier when I made this graphic. Turn that down a little bit. I don't know what he means by unpolished. It's his opinion, which I don't disagree with, I suppose, just not the word I would use to describe my music. But anyway, unpolished and above all honest. That initial impression became the starting point for creating my own version, a remix infused with the energy of drum and bass and the heaviness of metal, while still preserving the signature sound that defines me. See, it's interesting here. The energy of drum and bass and the heaviness of metal, that's kind of the core concepts of binary order. And definitely the core concept of the original song that I was doing with this. I was starting to experiment with really high BPMs and leaning into that drum and bass sound, and like I mentioned with Lorne earlier, that might be indicative of where binary order's going in the future, but I shouldn't really talk too much about that yet because I have other stuff to promote first. Anyway, the goal was never to replicate, but to give it presence, to carve some distance from the original while holding on to that ordered chaos. The track embodies, I've always believed that every song has a life of its own, and this was no different. The piece shaped itself until it became the remix it was meant to be, but refracted through the lens of Shinigami IND. That is a very good use of the word refracted there. I'm impressed. More than just a remix, this track breathes with its own soul. All I did was reinterpret how that soul resonates within the sonic universe of Shinigami IND. So yeah, as with every remix on this album, it's great. It's really impressive. There's always like a tinge of anxiety when you get sent a remix, because it's, you ask someone to do something and they come back with work and it's like, if this is terrible, it's going to be a difficult conversation. And it's, at the end of the day, it's these people I'm representing them and they're representing me, because this remix needs to go out underneath my banner as binary order, and my song is also attached to them. So it's a two-way street of quality that you both have to maintain. And if you get something back that's just abysmal, which has not happened to me so far, well, maybe once, but that was a long time ago. Anyway, if you get something back that's abysmal, it's, you either need to have a conversation with someone that I can't put this out, or you need to just be honest with them. But no, it's that anxiety is there, is what I'm trying to say, of you could get something terrible. But I get these remixes through, and they're always just really, really impressive. Oh, I pressed the wrong button because, of course, I have. No, it's going too quick. Anyway, yeah, I love this. I love this remix. It's great. It definitely, as he said, definitely reinterprets it. It's the reason so this was one of the ones that I sent to him. Again, I feel Face Beneath the Waves is a little bit overlooked on Future Belongs to the Mad. I think it's a really strong clean chorus, and I think the verses are very experimental for the rest of the album. And that's why I wanted this remix to sort of highlight it as well, and that's exactly what it's done. And very happy with it. So thank you, Shinigami IND. Please, anyone that likes the track or likes my stuff, check him out. I should have said that, but I wish said no as well. Any of these remixes, it's a reflection of their own stuff. So if you like these remixes, you'll definitely like the original art as well. So moving on from that, we have Fail to Live by 11FX. Now this, like with Shinigami and Which Said No, this was another guy that was recommended to me from Russian Dark community. There's so many names to remember. Now this one is crazy, and I love this song. I love the production on this. I've asked him to send me the kick that he was using. He hasn't done it yet, but I've got time. But yeah, this song is really, really good. This remix is really good. And the original one, see, again, unlike Face Beneath the Waves, it's the first track of System. And now some time's gone since System Recovery. I've got some thoughts on that album. But with Fail to Live, the original song, it's one of my favourites that I've written. And I thought, sending it to this guy, I think the reason I sent it off is because I really like the original so much, and I just felt there was a lot of room for experimentation on there, and there was, as you will hear. Now, instantly, the thing I love about this, and I don't know how he's done it, but there's an air of madness about it. It's got like a chaos to it. It's just crazy. Yeah.
I can barely stand as the pressure builds and builds on my back.
I don't know what he's done to my vocals as well, but it almost makes my baritone sound good.
So the world falls from me and all the status turned black. Nothing but the pain and regret of lost that's in me will remain.
So, like with Shinigami, sent some thoughts over on it. This is what he had to say. Let's see what the levels are like on this. 11FX is a musical project in the industrial rave genre that adapts to other dark musical genres to create remixes in styles such as dark, electro, power noise. Never heard of power noise before, but if it's anything like this, I'll probably like it. I've drunk too much water. Power noise and future pop. Dorian Rangel from Playa del Carmen, Mexico, is the lead music producer and composer of the project. I'm on the wrong screen. 11FX is the winner of the Freak Angel Remix contest and has officially remixed bands such as Studio X and Fabrics, among many others. For the creation of Binary Order, Fail to Live, 11FX remix, I thought about creating a track suitable for DJs in clubs, live streams, podcasts. That's the thing I like about this, is I flirted with this sound, especially with creating this sound. and I just think something else, especially the sound. But I've never gone fully into it, and so to have this with my songwriting on it, it's crazy. With a danceable rhythm and above all a lot of power, the original track already contains a lot of aggression and dark lyrics. I'm very satisfied with the final result, as am I. So yeah, thanks. Where is it? Jesus. Again, great. So I'm just an eye on the time. Okay. So unfortunately, oh yes. Right, so I am remembering what I'm doing next. I'll let the song finish. Or should I? Because otherwise I'm just going to be sat here. So unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to talk about every remix, but I'm just checking. Okay, so next we have Skin. Now the original is a very important song for me. It's one where I'm trying to remember what albums these are on. It's on Future Belongs to the Mad. And it was the first time that I really sort of threw away the shackles of metal since Messages. And really, I don't know, I did on Good Death. But with this, I really doubled down on the IDM sound. And it's something that I'm going to be experimenting a lot more with going forward. And this was my first attempt at it, and it's come out as a fan favorite, I suppose I should say. And yeah, I just the original is one of the songs I'm very, very, very proud of. So it was something I wanted remixed, just to see what could be done with it. Because again, same with Fail to Live, previous song, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And so the remix we got it's with all of these, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint the genre that they've gone with, and most of them, apart from which they've no one, which I suppose I just call it orchestral.
White wires and the nameless, above and in control. The taste is shameless when it's spent.
So he's done this super dark, but synthwave track, and it oozes cool, which I feel might have been cringe to say, but it does. There's some really, really good keys and stuff in this. That he's done some counter melodies that he's put in. It's just, there's a lot of work in this, and it's, again, like what I was saying originally, there's so much variety, I can't pronounce it properly, across the whole remix album. And this so the guy that did this, Vol AD, was kind enough to send a video over of him talking about his remix, which I will play for you now. Okay, let's get that full screen. There we go. Just like that. There you go.
So, greetings to all the Binary Order fans. This is Vol AD. Now the project called Exomorg. I changed the name, yeah. So I wanted to tell a little story about the process of my remix on the track Skin. I'm going to read it because it's easier to me. I made a text. So the remix was done in one day from morning till night, and another day was spent for the mixing. What is fun is that when I've heard the raw stems for the first time, it sounded somewhat airy and psychedelic, so to speak, to my ears. So at first I couldn't figure out what am I going to do here and how to make it more darker than it is. And if I even need to start with it, because I'm used to work on higher BPM tracks with clubby sound. But something told me that I need to try at least. So first thing I did is changing the rhythm section together with the bass line to make the track pumping harder, and it took me a while finding the right sounds. The vocals were the easiest part to work on. They just sit perfectly in the mix. And the vocal glitch effect is awesome. Yeah, I loved it. I left it as it is. So some parts left empty without vocals, like instrumental parts. So instead of cutting them out, I composed those old analog sounding synthwave arpeggios with a simple Tel Electro plugin. So that's basically it, you know. I had a great experience expanding the sound barriers, and it turned out pretty cosmic, yeah.
I'm here. Okay, right. I just didn't realize that was going to end so quickly. Okay, let's get that off the screen. So, yeah, I mean, thanks because I've got strange anyway. So yes, Skin Remix. He mentioned that he arpeggiated that he did it some instrumental parts. The original level choice, and I wanted the song to sound sparse and follow technically almost Stoken, so to speak. And yeah, the Stoken, I wanted the Stoken, I remember where I am. And so he's filled it. Thank you. I didn't realise that. Yes, I forgot to turn it down. So, yeah. Where was it? So yes, the arpeggiators that he put in. So the original, it was empty because I wanted a Stoken sound, and he's filled it in with these beautiful arpeggiators. The synth sound that he's used is great, and it's really added to the song. And that's the thing that I found so interesting about doing all this so far. Is just other people's interpretations of my own stuff. Is when you work on a song, you sort of build it as you see it in your mind, and you get it to a place, and you put everything into it. Every song I work on, I put everything into it, and I make it the best version of it, what it can be. But it's my interpretation of that. And then when someone comes in and does something different, it's just something you'd never think of, never think to do. And there's a lot of this on the album, so it's yeah, it's crazy for me, really, to hear these remixes, and great. So now let's see what I'm doing. So let's grab that. I knew it'd do that. All right, let's move that up there. Yeah. Alright, cool. Let's see what we're doing. Sorry about the audio thing. I forgot to turn it down for that 1 second. Hopefully, it was only that bit, and I haven't just been talking nonsense the entire time without you being able to hear me. So let's wait as this curtain was off. Alright. So, now let's get the remixer himself, Andre from Judge Dredd, in. So we did a test of this earlier. I need to stop showing my Discord chats. Did a test earlier, and this did work. So hopefully it will still work. Okay, where is the ring? Let's see if he's ready. Alright. Hey man, are you in? Let's see. Hello. Is this doing it on my end? Hello?
Howdy.
Hey man, how's it going?
It's going well.
Cool. Alright. Oh, that has doubled up. So as you can see, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I've got so many. Let's get this out of here. There it is. Alright. What screen am I even meant to be looking? So because I've done the Discord chat, everything's just moved now. But I think we're fine. I think it's okay. All right, cool. So I don't know where Discord is. There it is. Cool. So Andre, Judge Dredd, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I am a DC-based producer. I guess I started sorry, let me just get my volumes down here. 'Cause all right. So I originally started Judge Dredge as a synthwave project during COVID when we all had a ton of time to sit at home and I just kind of discovered Perturbator and um, Carpenter Brute, and that sound just fascinated me. I come from a metal background, uh, progressive metal mostly, and that was just something that I've always wanted to dabble in. Just a bunch of electronic music influence. Previously, I was dealing with trance and techno and stuff like that, but synthwave and vaporwave sounds and stuff like that. That really spoke to me for some reason because I'm just a child of the '80s, a huge Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, Nine Inch Nails fan. Um, and I just started messing around with this, and then several years later, I found your stuff, and I'm like, hey, I really, really like Feel Again. That was the first song I heard from you,
Yeah.
and it just kind of stayed forever in my head. Like I'm just like, and then when you propose this project, I'm like, I gotta reach out to this guy.
Hmm.
I gotta do this. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
really
So
talk about myself very often. So
yeah. Every time I've done interviews, they always start like that, like introduce yourself, and it's like, I have no idea what to say. But
I know
I
what the
think
hell I'm talking about.
yeah, it's well, it's same with me. It's like I don't know. Yeah, it's like you introduce binary order, and it's like I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Well, thanks for the remix. First of all, it's come out incredible. I remember it was a long process with you, if you don't mind me saying so. I think yours was
Yeah.
one of the last ones to get through. So you said it started in COVID. So when that would have been what 3 years ago?
No, 2020.
Was it 2020? I can never remember. It was 2022 or 2020. So yeah, 5 years.
March of
5 years.
2020.
Okay. Yeah, and you said you got a background in metal as well, and like those two are really evident in the remix itself. One of the things I love about it is the mashing of, because my original is sort of a dark wave, an attempt at a dark wave
Hmm.
song, and you've taken the dark wave elements and mashed them with synth and yeah, metal sound and kind of thing. So, what was the predominant, when you first started working on it, what was the initial idea?
So my whole thing with this song was when I stripped down. So first of all, when you sent the stems over, I always really enjoy just kind of taking apart what other people do, just like kind of looking at how your brain works.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like kind of obsessing over some of your synth choices. So I initially just started out as like almost like an ambient thing.
Okay.
Conversely, you've been talking about ambient stuff. So I was just taking a lot of your pads, which already sounded really good. And I just wanted to see how I can like kind of mess with them a little bit. And I just started stretching them out. I started running them through different things. I generally start writing all my music with some kind of ambient atmospheric sound or pad or whatever, and it just informs how I feel.
Yeah.
And with your stuff, that's exactly what it was going on. So I allowed the pads to kind of be the predominant element. I stripped away the drums, like the rhythm section, everything, and that's kind of where it went. And I didn't really honestly know where I was taking it.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted the music to kind of speak to me and like kind of let guide me. And it wasn't until I got a Cold Fire from Arturia. It's this fantastic plugin
It's a
that it's
distortion
like a
plugin.
distortion plugin. It's a
Yeah.
glitch plugin. Um, and I just tossed those pads in there at the very beginning of the remix, and I'm just like, oh, this is starting to sound funky. I like this.
Yeah.
And I just started throwing all the stems through this just to kind of I started feeding off of it. So it turned from something that was going to be fairly sparse and minimalist into something that I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna just make this really aggressive.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of your drum sounds, just started mangling them and everything.
Yeah, the experimentation that you've got on it is really good. The thing that really strikes me about it when I first got it back is it really felt like something. I know it's a remix of one of my songs, but in terms of the mashing and the structure and what you're saying, what you're doing with the ambient stuff, it really felt like something that I could have written or wanted to write as such. Because the production that I love on it as well, and I want to ask you about the production, especially the guitar tone and stuff. But
Yeah.
one of my initial questions is, you said you found Feel Again initially, so you was one of the guys. Remind me if, because I didn't tell you to remix Feel Again. I think I gave you a choice of a few
Mm-mm.
songs, and you chose Feel Again.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Well, so
immediately.
what? So what pulled you towards Feel Again?
So your song, I'm trying to remember how, like, I remember your tracks. Well, your album came across my Facebook, like, sponsor post. So, hey, it worked.
Yeah.
Um, and something spoke to me about the artwork, and I just checked it out. And that was the first song I listened to.
Okay.
And it just something at the time of my life, I guess, when you put that album out, it really pulled me in. It was kind of a place of loss and like a little disconnection from reality and just feeling a little like things are not really gonna get any better right
Mm-hmm.
now because I was in a very dark location in my life.
Yeah.
And I listened to it consistently. It just spoke to me. It's like, it's not the most complicated track. It's
Yeah.
just it's emotive and it gets the point across in a way that I really appreciated. And it actually made me really like the rest of the album a lot more for some reason. It was the anchor for me. So that's just the song I've always in my head, like listened to and referenced as like, hey, this is when I became a Binary Order fan.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's with The Future Belongs to the Mad, it was I essentially see messages up to System, including Future, as sort of a trilogy, and the most predominant thing is feeling sort of other to the world that you're in,
Mhm.
and The Future Belongs to the Mad. The actual title was taken from the tagline from Mad Max Fury Road, but I really feel that it
Mm.
represents sort of the mind frame I was in, of the every, and even the film Fury Road, especially. There's a line in it: it's hard to tell who was more crazy, me or everyone else. And just this idea of being other in a world that is sort of insane, and that's very predominant. So it's interesting that you picked up on that. And yeah, and as you said, the song's not complicated, and that was one of the things with this. I find I have a tendency to overwrite, and especially when it gets to the bridges, I always put a lot of pressure on myself. Where I'm like, right, the bridge, I don't want to do just the verse, but with a solo over the top, which is
Mhm.
the case with a lot of songs. But with this one, I felt, I think the melody was so strong that I did just fall back into it, and it has resonated with people, which is great, yourself included. But yes, I really want to talk about the metal influences in it, because when the song
Sure.
comes together at the end, or even sort of halfway through, that shift and the guitar tone is so nice. Now it's an 8 string, is that correct?
So I used an 8 string and a 6 string
Okay,
on this one.
all right. Can you tell me a little bit
The
about
eight
that?
string I use is the Meshuggah Signature M80M guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a 30-inch neck. I have like an 82 gauge low string tuned to a drop D. It's just like it's the loudest, just lowest thing you can get on that thing.
Okay.
Um, and then the 6 string is an Ibanez that I just got, and I cannot regurgitate the model name. I just know I like it.
Yeah.
So it was like my kind of first test in using it for like any kind of metal riff. But yeah, no, I generally try to like in my band, for example, we write very low tunings, heavy groove based stuff, and I kind of wanted to bring some of that into this, but also just kind of keeping it on kind of an old school industrial metal vibe. Like there's that riff kind of in the middle, um, that I just felt like I was ripping off from Rammstein or something,
Yeah.
like just from some older stuff from the '90s. And yeah, I don't know. It just came together very effortlessly because of just the song was just informing me to go that way. Like, I don't know, everything about that track just forced me to go in that direction. And I know your song already had rhythm guitars in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just wanted to make it a bit more just aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I utilized neural DSPs plugins for this.
Yeah.
So I used the Nameless plugin and the Gojira plugin, and I
Yes.
essentially recorded like 4 tracks, so two per each amp, and I just kind of blended them together. And
Okay.
that was pretty much it, man. Those plugins are solid. That's all I can
Yeah,
tell you.
like I use the Gojira archetype neural DSP. I think it's the
Yep.
same thing that you're talking about, and
Yes, it is. Yeah.
it's amazing on distorted guitars. But I found recently you can just obviously it's a VST, so you can put it on
Hmm.
anything, and just I'm
Yep.
running that through some simps, and it's such a clean distortion. And I think where it's like modeled after a guitar amp, there's less to sort of mess around with it. And I think some of you mentioned Coldfire. I use that as well. There's one called
Hmm.
Subvert and an Isotope Trash, which is an old school one,
Yes.
and they're great
Yes.
and they've got a lot of options, but just with the archetype one, you can just drop that on something. You've instantly got like a listenable distortion tone, and it's great, and it definitely sounds
And you
good.
don't have to do anything. You
Yeah,
just plug and
exactly.
play, and like you tweak some things, obviously, but it's just really effortless, and it just allows you to just have fun, man.
Yeah,
That's what I love about that. Yeah.
yeah. It's so did you so when you was making this, did you come across any issues? You said originally it was going to be ambient, and then it sort of went into what it was. Was there any trouble you had in that process, or was that sort of quite smooth?
So I think the thing that I always tend to have issues with when I make remixes is how to utilize vocals when the artist had a very deliberate, arrangement. The song has a very deliberate, verse chorus structure,
Mm-hmm.
very particular things are going on. And I didn't, and I think I might have mentioned this to you when we were talking beforehand, but like I didn't want to just do like a one for one arrangement uh copy. I didn't want to just like put your vocals on top of a track that the way that they were arranged. Like so, I wanted to do something interesting with them, just to make certain parts of the song that really spoke to me pop.
Yeah,
So that was the biggest challenge of what words can I utilize, what parts of the song can I utilize in certain places without making it sound corny or forced. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that was essentially kind of when I ran into some walls, and I'm like, okay, is this part heavy because it's is it for the sake of it being heavy, or does it actually have dramatic weight? So I was just kind of wrestling with this stuff, and this was also in the middle of working on my band's like new album,
yeah.
several. So there was like a lot of crosstalk. Like I'm dealing with this kind of electronic industrial element, and then I'm dealing with just metal. And it just like I know those things are relatable together, but I was just working in two different places. So I don't know if it was just me or if I was just trying to really impress you. I don't know. I was just kind of all over the place, and then it ultimately just clicked. So,
Well, you definitely did impress me with it, and that I
right.
remember talking about that. It's one of the things that I really like about it is just the obliteration of the original structure, and that sort of really makes it feel like its own thing. And I love some of the vocal callbacks. You have stuff like echoing and stuff in there because I think it opens with the line "Feel Love Again." I can't remember.
hmm
I don't think you use the verse vocals at all. I think it's just you build up to like a full chorus vocal, but yeah, there's no like the standard verse vocal just being sung in there. Do you use the verse vocal? Or am I remembering it wrong?
So there are, and forgive me because I don't have my computer currently functioning. But I believe that I utilize parts of the verse vocal as like little callbacks or punches here and there.
That's
Because
it.
I took like I almost just kind of chopped up your vocals, and I just
Yeah,
only chose certain phrases to
that's it.
utilize. And then there's a section like right before there's like this heavy moment where um it's just repeating a section of the song consistently, and um I'm trying to remember the vocals, forgive me.
That's fine.
But essentially I have your vocals, and then below them are another vocals that are just kind of trading back and forth, trading back and forth. And I just wanted to keep it super simple, man, because like they're like I said, I chose the specific phrases of the song that had an emotional impact on me, and I wanted to reflect them in a track. I just try to keep them very bare. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely it's come out incredible. It's I think as I was saying, it was one of the last ones to get through, and yeah, originally, as I've mentioned a few times now, I was going to throw the whole thing away, and it's your remixes as well as everyone else's that I'm so happy that I kept it as well. It's again I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of anxiety when you get something through because if you was obviously putting a lot of time and a lot of effort into this, and I think you showed me the your DAW like run through of all the cuts that you did and crazy. So because the end
hmm
thing that you've done it is simple, you don't break down into a three-part jazz harmony or anything like that. But the amount of work that you can see from the DAW cross section looked like there was a lot in there. But yeah, it's great, and you know, thanks for doing it again. I think I thanked you a few times, but can't thank you enough. And again, thank you for joining the stream because I know it's very early for you. Where are you calling in from? I know it's the US. Can tell by the accent.
So I'm calling from a suburb of Washington, D.C. Right
Okay.
in the shit, man.
Yeah, definitely in the heart of it all. But yeah, man,
hmm
like I'd definitely be up for working with you again. Maybe on something original. But cool. Do you
Yeah,
you've got
for sure, man.
so it sort of wraps things up from my end, unless I can think of anything more as we go on. But is there anything you'd like to say?
Um, I don't know. I don't.
So it feels
I
like an
just want
interview. You
people
putting
to just.
someone on the spot with that. It's like,
Uh, I mean, look, man. Like these kinds of projects are always exceptional for me because artists don't really like connect like this with their fans, or even just like analyzing the remix albums. And I kind of really appreciate you giving us an opportunity to do this with you.
yeah,
And,
well,
you being very like vulnerable by allowing people to just get your stems and, the access to everything you've done. And like I said, I've been a huge fan of yours for a few years here. And I'm really looking forward to, connecting again at some point in the future. I don't have any new music to show out here, so I don't really have much to much to say on that. But yeah, man, just keep it moving, man. This is awesome. I'm
yeah,
really happy with how this album turned out. You did a great job, and I'm really looking forward to anything else you're coming up with in the future because a little birdie told me about where you're going with it, and I'm very, very
yeah.
interested.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I'll talk very slightly about that. So I have the double album coming out at the end of a year, which is old stuff from before Messages. But there is new music that I'm working on, and when I say working on, I'm obsessing with. Like I've been up since 8 this morning because I had something else to do, and it's just I've had all weekend, all time. So I'm doing that. So it's weird. You probably get this when you're working on a project that where it's early and you're excited about it, but you don't want to talk about it because sometimes things don't come together. But it's hard to pretend that it isn't the thing that you're just like obsessing over constantly. So yeah, I have new stuff that I'm very excited about.
One
But
of the
yeah,
things I'll say on that front is a friend of mine gave me a very good lesson. Is, I used to always say like, "Yo, man, I'm going to be working on this double album concept record, and we're gonna
yeah,
put it out next year, and it's gonna have all this stuff on there." It's like, man, don't ever tell people what you're doing until you're basically done with it, because that
yeah.
way you don't shoot yourself in the foot. You
It's
know?
I don't know if you know him, but in the UK we had a game developer called Bullfrog, and they were PC games in the
Of course,
90s.
man.
Yeah,
Old
yeah, you know
school.
Bullfrog. All right. Every
Yeah.
time there's an English thing, I always think like the rest of the world doesn't know it. It's like Mr. Bean. When I went to France, everyone knew who Mr. Bean was. Blew my mind. But yeah, the guy behind Bullfrog, Peter Monalou, he destroyed
Nope.
his career because he would talk about stuff that was just a concept or an idea in production. Game came out, didn't have any of the things that he was talking about, and yeah, it just annihilated him. But people just thought he was a liar. But it's not being a liar. It's just part of the creative process. You work on
Yep.
something, and it just doesn't happen. It doesn't fall through. So you are right. You shouldn't really announce something until it's ready to be released.
But you can
Essentially,
be excited. You are allowed to be excited.
yes, yes. Well, that's the if you're not excited about your music, like why you even making it?
Man, what the
It's
hell are we doing?
yeah. But all right, man. Thanks again. I really appreciate you coming in, and you're welcome to join me anytime. I feel like this whole streaming thing sort of works a bit better when I've got someone back and forth rather than me just sitting here chatting to myself with my English accent. But yeah, thanks again,
Hey,
man.
man. Anytime, brother. Anytime.
All right, let's see if I can close the call without revealing my Discord chat. Yes, I can. All right. So we're ending a little bit early today. I could jump on Sonic Adventure, but I'm tired, and I'm sure everyone's gonna rush out to listen to the remix album. In fact, I'll probably finish the stream with Judge Dredge's track. Also, I didn't mention this when he was on there. I'm a huge fan of Judge Dredd, and hopefully it's not just a coincidence that his name's quite similar. I say I'm a huge fan. I basically think the 2012 movie is one of the greatest movies ever made, and I like the character in concept. Never read one of the comics, but I've always wanted to. Anyway, I will stop embarrassing myself with my lack of geek cred and play the song if I can figure out what button does what. that is Feel Again, Judge Dredge remix. I always feel like I'm saying Dredge wrong because I can't pronounce it, because I come from East London and we don't talk properly around here. But yes, thank you everyone. It's playing more songs. Okay, thank you everyone for showing up today. It's been great. I wanted to do this behind the scenes kind of thing for a while. I had the idea to do it for messages. Thank you, Berlin. I had the idea for doing this for messages when I first released this, and going forward, I will be doing release specials every time I put music out. But yeah, there's a lot coming in terms of binary order stuff in the future. Yes, so the first single from this double album that I keep talking about is coming out on the first Thursday of October. I should know these dates. October 2nd, and I can announce here it's a dual single. So there'll be 2 songs, one from each album. When I release it, I'll announce more about the albums. But yeah, they're a collection of songs that are very important to me, and that's why they're being brought back. They also reflect a very different sound. Not so much the singles, but the album. So I probably shouldn't say that, because you'll hear the singles and be like, this just sounds like a binary order song, and be disappointed. But a month after that, another dual single, and then we have December, where the 2 albums will release, followed by more stuff next year. Just never ends, because what else am I going to do? I don't like playing video games anymore, unless it's Big the Cat and Sonic Adventure, which we will be returning to next week. Now I know how to actually catch the frog. It shall go smoother. But thanks again, everyone, for showing up. Let's see if I can find the button to stop streaming. It's up there. All right.